Hello, Vermonters. I want to give you a lesson today in Critical Race Theory 101 so everybody can understand it. To make an analogy, this is a real chicken. She's a really nice chicken. See? That's a real chicken. This is not a real chicken. This is a fake chicken. This is what Burlington Free Press and Vermont Digger and the liberals are trying to show you as critical race theory. We are trying to show you a real chicken. Here's Burlington Free Press's article today, August 1st, 2021. Does critical race theory fit into Vermont's education justice movement? Here's the picture. Notice, you can look at it, they're very angry people. Their critical race theory is very angry. So in this article, what they do, like many of the liberal medias in trying to dismiss us, is first of all paint us as right-wing extremists when we're invoking the teachings of Martin Luther King. And we have many people who are liberals, including Dr. Aaron Kinsvater, who are telling us about the psychological problems of this from his established discipline with all of its proved science, which this does not have. Second of all, they say that those of us questioning critical race theory, quote, are disavowing attempts to discuss race. For 3 years, we've been hearing about BLM, which is critical race theory, in our schools. It's a left-wing ideology. It's experimental. It's a theory that nobody's allowed to criticize. So it's not critical. It's race-based, and it's a theory. It's really a hypothesis. There's no scientific evidence to justify this. There's certainly no scientific evidence to show this is going to be good for children. In fact, as Dr. Kinsvater continues to teach us, this will prove to be harmful to your children, and Vermont's way ahead of the country in installing it. Now they're like, oh my gosh, Vermonters are asking what it is. Look, they're disavowing discussing how racist Vermont is. That's right, we are. We don't agree. We think you're lying about us and our forebears, and you're hurting our children. So here are some questions for Burlington Free Press. We want to ask you about the real chicken, about real critical race theory. Does Burlington Free Press support the First Amendment and freedom of speech of other people, even with whom they disagree, even if it's about us all being white supremacists, unless we agree? Number two, does Burlington Free Press agree with the anti-Semitism of critical race theory? Or could it write another article about it? Because it wrote a whole article about how great critical race theory is. Because after all, it's part of the education justice movement of anger and hating white people based solely on their skin color. Sound familiar, Vermonters? It's not Martin Luther King at all. Does it support segregating Vermont students based on their skin color in violation of the 14th Amendment and Brown versus Board of Education and the decision of Bakke versus Regents of State of California, which specifically says that the 14th Amendment protects white people against discrimination? It's being done here in Vermont at all levels: COVID shots, COVID funds, etc. Does the Burlington Free Press support the firing of a high school student in Vermont as a lifeguard because he asked questions about critical race theory at a public session to discuss it? Does the Burlington Free Press support the horribly hate-filled racist poetry of Rajni Edens that's being taught right now in Essex School District as part of this wonderful education justice movement, talking about hacking white families to death with machetes as only fair? This is what? Justice? We'd like to have a conversation about race. Vermonters are going to find out what's being done, not just in their schools, that they've already implemented this like nowhere else, with a theory, with no evidence of what it's going to do, but that this newspaper and others are lying about it and not really having a conversation at all. They're like a fake chicken. Look. You see? Fake news, fake chicken. We're having a real conversation, Vermonters. Please join us. Kay Carl Smith is coming this Friday. We'll be having other events around the state, including in Waterbury, St. Johnsbury, and other places. And we're going to talk about the fake chicken. We're going to talk about real chickens. We're going to talk about Martin Luther King. And if you're going to throw Martin Luther King out of the window, then you have to tell us why. Because even Vermont Democrats and even a chicken knows that you're lying to us. So nothing sweeter than Vermont liberty and Martin Luther King. Thank you so much for listening, and please find out more for yourselves about who's telling the truth. Thank you.